Okay, so I have a serious question and a not so serious question for you. Just being mindful of time here. So the serious question is this. It seems like the things that you write about, and from what I can gather by watching your videos or listening to you, is that you place an importance on just uninterrupted time to think, to work, to do whatever you need to do. I think Peter Drucker, in his book, The Effective Executive, said it's a priority for an executive to consolidate the largest amount of discretionary time. Okay, so if that's your way of your philosophy, your ethos, what do you do with your time? Like, assuming that, you know what, there's no meetings, nobody's bothering me. I noticed no one's messaging you right now. So there's a lot of this discretionary time. What do you do with your time?
During the work day, basically?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is a fundamental tenet at Basecamp, which is I feel like my job is to help people protect their time and attention because it's the thing everyone else wants from each other. And the quality of an hour is incredibly important to me. So there's a bunch of different ways to slice 60 minutes, but the best slice for me is 60 minutes. It's not 4 15-minute blocks. It's not 2 30-minute blocks. It's 60 minutes straight, uninterrupted stretches of time. What do? I think, I draw, I sketch, I work on new ideas for the products that we're working on. I reconsider how we're doing certain things. I write a lot. And those are the kinds of things that I can't do in fragments, although I will also do them in fragments. Like an idea will pop into my head at 9 o'clock at night when I'm, just put the kids to bed and my wife and I are having a chat and then I have some private time or whatever, like something will pop in my head. So things do just come in fragments, of course, but I feel like I can't work through those things unless I have long stretches of uninterrupted time. And this is not, again, just a privilege for me because I own the place. This is something that we're very careful about with everybody, which is why at Basecamp, we rarely have any meetings. We advocate for, we don't have what we call presence. So our products don't have a little red or green or yellow dot next to your face showing you if you're available or busy. Like the assumption is that everyone's busy working on their own thing and you need to respect people's time and attention. So don't reach out and try to grab someone. If you have a question, write it up in long form and post it to Basecamp and let people get back to you when they have a chance versus when you need the answer immediately, unless, of course, it's truly urgent. So downplaying this idea of urgency, this is a cultural thing, though. It's everyone has to sort of believe that urgency is overrated, ASAP is poison, unless it's absolutely, truly necessary, and then you do grab someone. So when you go more towards asynchronous communication, when there's no expectation of immediate response, people end up having the ability to even have 2 or 3 hours to themselves uninterrupted. Maybe then something comes up and you deal with it. But ideally, I want everyone at Basecamp to have an 8-hour day to themselves. And they can decide how they want to spend that with their team and whatnot. But it's not like, my first half of my day is just absorbed by meetings. And then I've got an hour and then I got another thing and I've got an hour, I got another thing. So I have no time really to work through things. And so now I'm going to work late at night or in the mornings or on the weekends because I don't have any time to do things at work anymore. That's an unhealthy place to be. So we try to push all those distractions to the side and give everybody long stretches of time. And when you have that, you can actually achieve a lot in a little. So we work about 40 hours a week per person at Basecamp. We're not pulling all-nighters. There's no 70, 80-hour weeks. There's no weekend work unless you're on a weekend shift for customer support, something like that. 40 hours a week is plenty of time if you have about 8 hours a day to yourself. If you have 2 hours a day or an hour, it's tough because you had things to do and you can't get them done in that short period of time. When your day is sliced into a billion pieces, it's really hard. So that's a fundamental thing that we're able to get a lot done in a short period of time in a reasonable amount of time because the quality of our hours are high. And the more of those hours you can stack back to back, like it's kind of a superpower to have 3 hours to yourself straight through. That's just something most people don't have. I remember I spoke at a conference a number of years ago. Everything was now a number of years ago, conferences. And I just asked people there's like 600 people in the audience, put your hand up if you've had 4 hours to yourself at work in the past month or something. And relatively no hand, maybe 5% of the hands, that's sad to me. It's sad that people don't have 4 hours to themselves at work. And we're trying to make sure that that's like every day at Basecamp is sort of the aim. Of course, different jobs are different. Like if you're in customer service and you're answering tickets, that's a different story. But at least you're not being pulled off in meetings and then also having to answer tickets, you know? So we just want to make sure that the thing that you're doing is pretty much your only focus for the day. That's the aim.
You know, I one of the things I recognized early in the pandemic was I was exhausted at the end of each day in ways that I wasn't exhausted before. And then it dawned on me like a month and a half into it, like, why am I so tired? What is going on? Because I was working uninterrupted for 8 to 10 hours a day, which I've never had since starting my company. So you talk about the quality of the hour. I mean, I would challenge those 5% who raised their hands who said I had 4 hours of uninterrupted quality work time. Because man, you could do a lot if you had that kind of time. So even the idea of 40 hours of, you know, do what you need to do, no one's going to interrupt you, that is crazy. Your effectiveness must be through the roof at that point.
Yeah, you actually 8 hours. You should be tired at the end of 8 hours because you actually worked. And by the way, no one's literally working for 8 hours. Like if you're lucky if you get like, let's be honest, like a good 4-hour day, really. Like, but if you get 4 uninterrupted hours, that's equivalent to like someone else working 10 hours and spreading their day across a bunch of different things. I mean, like 4 hours is awesome. And for those who don't think 8 hours is enough, just jump on a plane in Chicago and fly to London. That's 8 hours and just sit there. And you're going to see how long 8 hours is. It's a lot of time. It's an extraordinary amount of time. And again, if you can get half of that uninterrupted and contiguous, you're going to see just how much time that is and how much you can actually literally get done. So the people who work 10 or 12-hour days or 14-hour days, the reason they're doing that is not because there's 14 hours of work to do in a day. It's because their time is spread across so many different things and it's so fragmented that they can't really get into anything. And then the things they have to do require that kind of time and they don't have the moments to do it. So they're just spread. But if you don't have to be spread and you can be, condensed, you can get a whole lot of stuff done in a short period of time.
Hi, my name is Greg Gunn, and I'm the producer of the Future podcast. And yes, we do have a podcast. In fact, we've been having one for years, and that's exactly why I'm here talking with you. You see, it's really good, and I think you should listen to it. If you like what we do here on YouTube, then you're gonna love what we do on the podcast. You'll get to hear intimate conversations and personal stories from some familiar faces and others you might not know about yet. Plus, you can listen to it while doing something else, and you won't miss a thing. So, if any of that sounds interesting to you, go visit thefuture.com/podcast or find it on your favorite podcast listening app. I hope to see you there.